30 years of joyfulness. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM, hits 103.9 FM in Accra, on Love 99.5 in Kumasi, myjoyonline.com. We're also live in all 16 regions of Ghana via our various affiliates, live on X Spaces and Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petrosol Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. This afternoon, thousands of patients continue to suffer across the country as the nurse and midwife strike enters its 9th day. We hear from a former General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association who is warning against using legal action to force nurses back to work.
If you think that you can use legality to bully them, unfortunately it is no.
Also, Education Minister Haruna Idrisu rallies over 600,000 BECE candidates, urges discipline and integrity as they sit for their first major external examination today.
As they enter the exam hall, I urge them to remain calm, focused and determined and avoid any form of examination malpractice, believe in their ability to succeed.
More as candidates express readiness for the exams.
I'm feeling hopeful because I always put Isaiah 41 verse 10 in my mind because the Lord said He will help.
Not nervous, feeling normal, 100% prepared because we learned, so we are here to deliver.
So this is a 1-1-1 for all of you?
Yeah.
Well, also coming up, drivers and vehicle licensing authority set to commence implementation of a new penalty regime for roadworthy infractions.
Remove their front tint because they all come with fines, they all come with penalties. When we meet you on the road, we apply, the rates and then you pay. The fee for that infraction, I think it's 225 Ghana cedi.
We have details of that shortly in sports.
End of season, Ghana Premier League table takes a new twist as Nations FC suffer 3-point deduction.
And in today's edition of our Climate Focus series, we spotlight Mukhtar Saidu, who's forging a cleaner future by manufacturing eco-friendly gas stoves, roasters and boilers designed specifically for Ghanaian homes.
Looking ahead, I firmly believe that within a decade, we can significantly reduce the country's reliance on firewood, thereby promoting a more sustainable and environmentally friendly.
These and more with me, Maame, Thompson. Stay for details. And in our first story, it's another day and thousands of patients across the country continue to suffer as the nurses and midwives strike enters its 9th day. The National Labour Commission secured an injunction compelling the nurses to call off the strike. But nearly 24 hours after that, there have been no word or whether the strike will end anytime soon. On the Super Morning Show today, Labour consultant Austin Game called on the nurses to return to work and negotiate their position with government.
You cannot be on strike and having that conversation. The law forbids, whether in Ghana, whether in Japan, whether in America, whether in Azerbaijan, the law forbids for anybody to be on strike at the same time having a discussion. It's not a war zone. It's a labor relations matter. So you don't have to even put on red band according to the law. You cannot be threatening somebody, hold somebody hand at the back, and you say, come on, let's stop on my terms. This is like you are dictating to the person. It's a unilateral approach which the employer is being accused of, that the union is also visiting on the employer. So both parties have to sit down, have a civilized conversation. If it's going to be a payment plan, you bring your offer, you also bring your offer, not even position. My position is this. Our position is this. It's positional negotiation. It is not part of our labor law at all. It's lack of knowledge that's creating the problem. Okay. So I think that I would plead with both parties. They will have to, the unionized people within the nursing fraternity, they know that. They have to go back to work and let them employer also get away from the poster everybody else is talking about. Let them go to the table, go and sit down and have a conversation about any plan that is worth implementing. You can't force the employer to pay you when they cannot afford to pay. You cannot do that. You can't force a horse to a riverside to go and drink water. He will put his mouth inside, you will not drink.
Austin Game is Labour consultant, but former General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association, Dr. Justice Youngson, disagrees with Austin Game's perspective on the issue, stating that the employer cannot use legality to bully the nurses.
Where we are now, government
or the employer, I don't want to say government, it's between the employer and the workers, will have to backpedal, that's what I said, and have an implementation plan that takes into consideration the sentiments of the nurses as we speak, such that we can have a plan which can be implemented either in full or in part, in a staggered manner or whichever approach, so that it becomes a win-win situation for both ends. That is the only way out. If you think that you can use legalities to bully them, unfortunately it is no. And it's funny, or it is quite interesting. Anytime experts or commentators talk about the illegalities of what the workers are doing, they refuse to also talk about the illegalities of the employer. Look, if you take the Labor Act, this particular issue, we shouldn't be where we are, because the Labor Act is so clear. No matter how you stretch it, you cannot go beyond 3 weeks when it comes to resolution of issues concerning essential services. But to say that we cannot accommodate your request in any way, when it has been known to you for months, then I think that there's a bit of bad faith.
Well, let's also hear from a D&D fellow on public health, Kwame Sapong Isedu.
When I'm confronted with things like this, I ask myself a basic question. What health system do we want versus what health system do we have? And are we sure that the situations we find ourselves in lean themselves towards the health system we want? Because look, when these negotiations were had initially in 2024, we were grappling with the issue of health worker migration. We're talking about the professional migration, and people were talking about poor remuneration as the a major factor, and other people were trying to say that the nurses were not patriotic enough. And I held the view that when it comes to bread and butter issues, patriotism is not a determinant, because at the end of the day, when that nurse goes to pay the kids' school fees, when that nurse goes to pay for groceries, when they pay for electricity, when they pay for water, they wouldn't be asked for their patriotic card. They would have to pay or do without. So as Dr. Yankson said, the negotiations have happened. How didn't it get into the budget?
Well, on the ground, the strike continues to bite. Today, we put the spotlight on the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, the country's foremost tertiary facility. Joining us from there is Solomon Ajao, Greater Accra Secretary of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. But before him, though, is Isaac Ofieje, who will take us through the magnitude of the strike and its potential impact on the economy. So, Kofi, you've been working the numbers. How does it look?
Well, Maame, we have fresh data from the GRNMA, and that's on their website. And according to them, that their total number, or their population, is now around 120,330. That is giving us an indication of the total number of nurses who could be on strike, over 120,000 nurses.
Right.
And if you do the math, this is about 66% of the country's health sector workforce. So you have about 66% of the country's labor, health sector workforce currently on strike. And in terms of the magnitude, we understand yesterday that it could cost government some 2 billion, Ghana cedis to, implement this. And we have done the math, and we've seen that if government should go ahead with this, that could cost the state some 167 million Ghana cedis every month to get this through. But government has a threshold, and they do not want to spend more than 33% of this year's revenue on compensation of employees.
Thank you so much, Kofi. And joining me is Solomon Ajao from the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. We're grateful for joining us in studio, and quite a tall man though there. But let me hear from you. What's the situation in the hospital as we speak?
Okay, thank you and good afternoon to your listeners. We'd like to say that we are grateful for this platform. But let me put in perspective, I don't work at Kolebu Teaching Hospital. I represent over the region as the regional secretary for the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwife Association. Yes, but currently, with a case of Kolebu in perspective, as a total shutdown there. Yes, and yesterday we had our team going around to monitor the situation on the ground. And it is not as easy as you or it's not as pleasing as people would like to say it. Or we ourselves, we the nurses and midwives working there, or our colleagues working there, are not happy staying home. The issue is that get the CA, the collective agreement, signed into implementation, then we'll have our colleagues back.
Okay, so we also understand that your executives are consulting with you on what line of action they should take from here after the health minister and also the deputy finance minister spoke in a press conference from the presidency. What has been the conversation between you and your executives concerning the strike?
Okay, so as of yesterday, we had a meeting. GRNA runs on a structure, and that structure, the highest decision body is a national council that takes decision. So no one person or two people can take decision for the association. And so council had a meeting, and we are still deliberating our proposal that we sent to government. We've not had any feedback, only to be to hear in the news that government said we were not factored in the 2025 budget, which I think is sad to hear. It drums home our thinking that issues about nurses and midwife is not a priority to government. Issues about nurses and midwife is not a priority to government, and it's very sad at this stage.
Okay, Solomon, I have one of your executives on the line. That's Dr. Tinkran, and he'll be joining us with the latest. I understand we do not have him yet, but as at now, you haven't heard from your executives on the next line of action yet?
I'm part of leadership.
Okay, so
what we haven't decided yet.
You haven't decided yet.
Yes.
Is there a timeline to this?
What I can confidently also say is that there's a planned meeting for us to have this afternoon.
All right.
We are yet to
conclude on that.
Yes. So I'm sure by close of day we'll come out with a statement or we'll issue a communique to our people on the next line of action. But as we speak, the rollout of the strike is still ongoing.
Thank you so much. Solomon Ajaw is Greater Accra Secretary of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. I understand that Dr. Tinkran has joined us now via Zoom and is listening in on this conversation. Okay. Unfortunately, he didn't join us. But moving on, in one of Ghana's largest academic exercises, over 600,000 students today began the 2025 Basic Education Certificate Examination, marking the start of their transition to senior high school. Education Minister Haruna Idrisu, in a heartfelt national message, urged candidates to approach the exams with integrity, focus, and confidence, cautioning them against the temptation of examination malpractice and emphasizing the importance of discipline throughout the process. Speaking earlier on the Super Morning Show, Haruna Idrisu reassured students that the BECE is not merely a test of memory, but a true reflection of their comprehension, preparation, and years of dedication.
On behalf of the President, the Ministry of Education, the Government of Ghana, I want to extend warm wishes and heartfelt encouragement to all the candidates. As they enter the exam hall, I urge them to remain calm, focused, and determined, and avoid any form of examination malpractice. Believe in their ability to succeed. They would succeed. They prepared for this day, and they will succeed through honest effort. They should remember that this examination is just a test of memory, but a reflection of their growth, their character, and potential for which they've been trained for.
Mr. Idrisu also assured that government is taking urgent steps to address the furniture challenges affecting the smooth conduct of the examination.
For me, at the Ministry of Education, I'm speaking to you from Techima, in the Bono region. Last night I was in Babato, just to assess the readiness and preparedness of the GS for this examination. One of the concerns that I got exposed to is the quality of furniture that the students sit on, even for the purpose of exams. So there's an urgent need for government to respond urgently to the furniture needs of schools.
Well, let's touch base now with our correspondents, and Anna Sabit joins me on the line from the Bono East region. Anna, we understand the Education Minister is in your region. Is everything going well there, and what's the latest?
Yes, Maame, all is well here in the Bono East region. The minister, like you heard him earlier, spoke, mentioned his concern about examination malpractices. Recently, WAEC issued a statement tagging Bono East Bono and Ahafo region as the leading regions when it comes to exam malpractices. So he urged the candidates to believe in themselves and then write the exams devoid of, resorting to those, foreign materials at the end of the day. So we haven't recorded any incident of such cases yet, and the minister has assured that he's going to also tackle the issue of furniture, which is key to some of the things he saw on the ground.
Anas, thank you very much. Let's head to the Volta region now and speak to Ivy Setoji, who's also been monitoring the exams there. Ivy, what can you report?
Yeah, so the students are waiting to write their second paper for today, and things are going smoothly. But as I mentioned earlier in another report, 2 students at the Sokode SHS Center reported pregnant but still writing. One student was is not able to write well, but teachers and then the vigilators are there to guide her on what to do. Apart from that, things are going on. Other centers also recorded a few as students who were not able to turn up for the examination. Aside that, things are ongoing well. Education directors, they are going to from school to school to monitor what is exactly going on. The minister and other people are also monitoring the situation. But for now, the situation is okay. Students are hopeful that they will write the exams and pass very well.
Ivy, I'm also understanding that in the Volta region, there's some students who are pregnant writing the exams. Are there measures put in place to ensure that they write it safely?
Yes, please. So at the Sokode SHS center, that's the center, 2 students reported pregnant, but they were at the examination hall. As I speak, they are waiting to enter for their second paper. So measures are being put in place to make sure they are safe and they are comfortable while they write their final examination. It's cuts across. Some few students are reported pregnant, but they are writing. Teachers, especially the female teachers, are making sure that they are comfortable.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much, Ivy. Also in the Upper East region, we understand that a concerned development as 21 pregnant girls and 17 lactating mothers are among the over 19,000 candidates sitting the examination over there. Erabana Akwe is in Kumasi Anglican Senior High School Center, where 420 students from 15 schools are also writing the exam. But joining us now is Head of Public Affairs for West Africa Examination Council, WAEC, John Kapi. We're grateful for your time, Mr. Kapi. So far, how smooth has the examination gone across the country?
Thank you very much for having me. So far, we've had a very smooth examination. All the material have reached the examinees, and so far everything is smooth as far as we are concerned.
Well, there are concerns about the annual malpractice. What new measures or security measures has the council put in place to address that?
We have tried to reach out to as many of our stakeholders as possible. We held stakeholder engagement with all the stakeholders across the region. The last one was held in Accra on the 4th of June. And we ensured that we told everybody what was happening and the fact that, we all need to come together to curb this canker. So as we speak, the Ministry of Education, the Ghana Education Service have deployed a number of monitors into the field. The NIB is equally doing the same. The Ghana Police Service has deployed some security personnel. National Security is also monitoring. And then our personnel are also in the field. So we try to increase our presence. We also did a lot of work in terms of orientation for our supervisors and invigilators. It is our hope that whatever we said was, actually listened to, and that they will all do their best to ensure that there will be no irregularities across the country.
Well, Mr. Kapi, we also understand that there are students with special needs also writing the exams. Did you also make arrangements for them to write it, safely, in a safe environment, feel comfortable?
Sure, we spoke with the district exams officers. We asked them to provide us details of all those particular candidates who need special attention. So we have had provision made for all of them. And so I'm very sure that they are all, ready. They have whatever they need to enable them to have an free examination. Yeah.
Right, thank you so much. Mr. John Kapi is Director of Public Affairs at WAEC, and we also understand that the President, the Vice President, Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bergwin, have all wished the candidates well in the examination. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll take a break here. When we return, we have sports and also drivers and vehicle licensing authorities set to commence implementation of a new penalty regime for roadworthy infractions.
Remove their front tint because they all come with fines, they all come with penalties. When we meet you on the road, we apply, the rates and then you pay the fee for that infraction. I think it's 225 Ghana cedi.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a petrol source station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
When I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth with Kale Charcoal toothpaste. This gives me confidence all day.
Anytime you meet Amma, don't be surprised I smile showing my beautiful white teeth because I don't have cavity thanks to Kale Charcoal toothpaste for its natural charcoal properties. In fact, we are like twins. I can't go without my Kale Charcoal toothpaste.
That be why I dey use Kale Charcoal toothpaste morning and night when I dey go bed safe. It dey make my teeth white when it dey comot every scent from my mouth inside. My confidence level they go up, so I dey show my 32 teeth all.
Introducing the Kale Charcoal toothpaste, formulated with activated bamboo charcoal powder, ensures whiter teeth and removes bad breath. The strong natural property of the activated bamboo charcoal removes bacteria, absorbs surface stains on our teeth caused by coffee, wines, and tobacco. Welcome, Kale Charcoal toothpaste. Kale Charcoal toothpaste, Sankofa Yenchi.
Kale, happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
Papa no no, 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 Ankasa. Polytank is everywhere, durable and authentic. Stronger brand you can trust. Polytank, we get Sumo, Rambo, and get Sumo Super. And the Polytank, we did. Polytank, papa no no, 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 Ankasa. Always the best.
Welcome back to the Midday News. It's time for sports. Mubarak.
Yes, Maame. So the Ghana Football Association has deducted 3 points from Nations FC after the club was found guilty of initiating actions that led to the abandonment of their penultimate match of the season against Basake Holy Stars in the Premier League. As a result of the ruling, Nations FC finished the campaign in 5th place. Hearts of Oak moved up to 4th, with Asante Kotoko climbing to 3rd. Hearts of Lions end the season in 2nd place, while Bibiani Good Stars sit at the summit as the confirmed league champions. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Mubarak. Now, after 34 years of mastering his craft at Kumasi Technical Institute, Mukhtar Saidu embarked on a mission to design and manufacture eco-friendly gas stoves, roasters and boilers tailored specifically for Ghanaian households. Joy News Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin visited his engineering shop at Kumasi Magazine and now reports for Climate Focus.
Mukhtar believes that collective action can spark transformative change.
In a month, our team is able to manufacture about 500 stoves, given our current workforce. Interestingly, We often receive customers who purchase these stoves as soon as we complete production. As you can see, our efforts are not only beneficial to individuals but also contribute positively to the country.
According to studies, charcoal and firewood contribute to emissions, particularly in developing countries, but there is a cleaner alternative. Mokhtar says his products are durable, cost-effective, and produce less emissions.
If we continue to refine our manufacturing process, I'm confident that our product will attract an even larger customer base.
Climate Focus is brought to you by Joy News in partnership with Youth Bridge Foundation, Bridging Gaps for Positive Youth Development, and the Climate Development Knowledge Network.
Well, if you drive or own a vehicle but refuse to renew your license and roadworthy certificates on or before the expiry date indicated on your documents, you will face penalties, including a fine of 225 cedis and days behind bars. Yes, you heard right. That's the new penalty regime for roadworthy infractions. The Drivers and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, set to enforce this new penalty regime starting this month. After a month-long public education campaign, motorists will face sanctions for non-compliance, including a penalty fine for lacking essential vehicle accessories. Ashanti Regional Manager of DVLA, Jerry Aflabo, said the aim is to enhance road safety and security.
The fee for that infraction, I think it's 225 Ghana cedi. So we're supposed to start implementing that. In fact, we have parliamentary approval for that 225. Yes, but it is just because we want to try and combine education with enforcement, so it's a bit relaxed. So I want to use the opportunity to educate our clients that they should make sure that they have their vehicles in good condition. They have their warning triangle, fire extinguisher. They have reflectors on their vehicle. They don't tint their vehicles. They remove the tint for the front windows. It's for their security. Okay. Imagine you are being kidnapped at gunpoint at night or somewhere, and you are driving to a checkpoint, and because the vehicle is tinted, somebody is holding a gun on you in the vehicle. Nobody sees. Nobody knows. I know their privacy is their concern, but you have to weigh the two and then make that decision. And so it's an appeal we are making to them that they should remove their front tint, because they all come with fines, they all come with penalties. When we meet you on the road, we apply the rates and then you pay.
And just before we go for what's trending, President Maame says the 24-hour economy policy begins 1st of July, and that the Tema and Takoradi ports will be declared 24-hour ports soon. He spoke at the Horticulture Expo 2025.
And I'm pleased to announce that on July 1st, the 24-hour initiative policy will be ready to go into operation. This policy will provide the framework for continuous production, processing and logistics in horticulture. It allows perishable goods like pineapples, mangoes, chilies and herbs to move swiftly from the field to ports to international shelves, minimizing losses and maximizing value. And I'm pleased to inform you that the Ministry of Trade and Agribusiness and Industry and the Ministry of Transport are working together with the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, the Ghana Shippers Council, and other stakeholders to soon declare the Tema and Takoradi ports as 24-hour ports.
President John Dramani Mahama, then Jackie and Adobia joins me with what's trending. You'll be working 24 hours?
Please, I can't.
Anyway, so what's trending?
Well, BECE is trending. A lot of people sharing the year that they wrote, they sat down to write their BECE.
What year did you write it?
BECE, which year?
In the 1990s.
Hey.
Yes.
No, that was my 10 years ago. That was 2015.
Wow.
And mine was in 2011. Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, calm down for us. St. George is also trending. He's reduced the... Okay, so what he's done is increase the data bundle with the same price you'll be paying. And then some people are praising him. And of course, people have different opinions. I just make one comment. Someone says, that's Ray. He says he left Zone Battle, boss.
Okay.
So, Yeah, that's it.
That's it for the trends?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, ladies. And that's how we end the midday here on Joy 99.7 FM. Up next is Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil.